Hi, my name is David P. Shapiro. I'm the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P. Shapiro, located in San Diego, California, where my firm helps good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. And one crime that we see a lot is DUI murder. Okay, so it's situations where someone is accused of causing an accident where someone other than themselves unfortunately lost their life, and there's an allegation there was either alcohol, drugs, or a combination of the two in that person's system at the time they were driving, and that they caused that accident, which ultimately led to the loss of life. And in this video, I want to talk to you really about three things that need to be done in any DUI with murder case, or any DUI case resulting in loss of life that is charged as murder, known as a Watson, W-A-T-S-O-N murder, here in California. One is an investigator, like an accident reconstructionist, to examine the reports. The second is a mitigation specialist. That could be an investigator, that could be a paralegal, that could be whoever. Someone focused specifically on mitigation. And third, you're going to want to consult with the forensic toxicologist. So let's break that down one by one by one. Well, why is an accident reconstructionist investigator important? Well, what's really important is what was the cause of the accident, right? What was the speed this individual was alleged to have been traveling at, right? What's the prosecution experts going to say? What would a defense expert possibly say? And is there a reasonable interpretation of the evidence that supports not guilt, as opposed to, well, this is just another example of reckless indifference to human life, which is what the prosecution will argue over and over and over again as it relates to the blood alcohol content or the substances found in the blood or urine, as well as the totality, including but not limited to the driving, right? So an accident reconstructionist is important to basically check CHP, to check National City PD, to check San Diego Police, whoever is actually doing the accident reconstruction, taking measurements, making an opinion about the cause of the accident, the speed of the vehicle, the driving pattern, so on and so forth. And what we see on these cases, particularly in San Diego, is they will have a district attorney investigator on the scene as well pretty soon after the accident. And this district attorney investigator is usually former law enforcement in the California Highway Patrol, CHP, or some other local agency. So it is imperative to have your own accident reconstructionist, and the value really cannot be understated as it relates to an accident reconstructionist. It can't be overstated. It can certainly only be understated. Super valuable to the defense, super valuable, more importantly, to the defendant in his or her case. The second thing that really is essential is a mitigation specialist, because a lot of these times, people wonder, hey, why am I being charged with second-degree murder? How am I facing 15 years to life? I never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to kill anybody. But the law says that if you have prior knowledge, whether that's because you have a prior DUI and you did a Mothers Against Drunk Driving meeting, or a first conviction DUI program, or maybe you took some classes with the military or with your employer about alcohol, how it affects the body, how it impairs the body, or maybe even you're a criminal defense attorney yourself and you live and breathe this day in, day out, and are aware that being under the influence of alcohol or drugs is inherently dangerous to human life, then you can and potentially will be charged with second-degree murder if you cause an accident where someone's killed and you're believed to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs at the time you were driving. And mitigation is important because a lot of times the district attorney and judges, and unfortunately juries, will look at all these cases the same way. Right now, a lot of mitigation stuff you're not going to be able to get in front of a jury, because mitigation talks about maybe your upbringing, maybe any trauma you experienced as a child, as an adult, your work history, your social history, your family history, all that stuff. Then the hope is that you're able to, or your attorney is able to show the district attorney and hopefully the court, if the court has any influence over negotiations, that really you're not deserving of going to trial on a case where you're facing 15 years to life in prison, and that you're deserving of as low a sentence as humanly possible under those facts unique to your case. So having someone go out, interview family, interview friends, interview people from way back, obtain records, medical records, school records, trauma records, whatever the case may be, really, really important. And at time, probably not the greatest serve for one of your attorneys on the case, but definitely someone like an investigator, like an paralegal. So that's something you want to be keeping an eye on if you are a loved one or charged with DUI murder. You might want to have that discussion. You definitely want to have that discussion with this person's attorney to talk about, hey, what are the thoughts on when you want to bring in a mitigation specialist? What are the thoughts on when you want to bring in an accident reconstructionist? And finally, the third topic is, what are the thoughts on when you want to bring in a forensic toxicologist or someone at the very least with a medical and science background to look at the blood results, to look at the urinalysis, whatever the case may be, to see if there's an alternative opinion out there backed up that's a reliable one, that maybe the blood alcohol level wasn't as high. Not even necessarily to go as far as saying, hey, we're not sure if this was 0.08 or higher, but sometimes it's helpful from a mitigation standpoint as it relates to DUI murder that, hey, the blood alcohol level is really closer to a 0.10 or a 1.1, not a 0.15 at the time driving. There's a lot of value in that as well. And also you want to rely on an expert to, if the blood draw is on video, to watch that, to make sure everything was done in a medically sound manner. Because if you're able to keep out the scientific evidence, the forensic toxicology evidence as it relates to level of intoxication or impairment, it makes it very difficult, if not impossible, for you to be even charged, let alone convicted, with DUI murder. Right? So a trained eye, a trained expert may be able to identify things in a blood draw procedure, may be able to identify things in a blood or laboratory packet that even the most experienced DUI attorney may not be able to, at first glance pick up on. So those are the three people you really want to make sure, in addition to a quality, locally experienced criminal defense firm with experience handling DUI murders at a successful level, you want to make sure that team will also include an accident reconstructionist, a mitigation specialist, as well as a forensic toxicologist, all outsourced experts in almost many instances, experts that you will likely need to pay for in addition to the law firm, but totally invaluable to the defense, as it relates to the attorney, as it relates to making sure that anything and everything is done to ensure that you or your loved one get the best outcome possible, whether that's taking the case all the way to trial, whether it's, negotiating the case from the outset, whatever the case may be, to make sure you have as much information, as many resources, and as much input from people who do this for a living day in, day out to ensure you receive the best result possible whenever you are a loved one or charged with DUI murder, or quite frankly, any DUI causing serious bodily injury. So if you find yourself facing charges like these, you, a friend, family member, spouse, whoever, these are all good questions. I hope this video has been helpful to give some information about what you should be looking for, what the attorneys and the law firm should be sort of talking about at some point, and be able to map out why they're going a certain direction, why they are using an accident reconstructionist, why they might not, and is there some strategy or some sound strategy behind it. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to give my firm a call, 619-295-3555. Again, my name is David Shapiro. I'm a San Diego criminal attorney, 619-295-3555.